You've tuned in to the BAM Pod, brought to you by Black Bear Diner, Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, Mercury Marine, Vexus Boats, StoreQuest Storage Solutions, Bass Boat Technologies, and Tackle Warehouse. Now, kick back and enjoy the next great episode of the BAM Pod. All right, everybody, welcome into the BAM Pod. I'm your host, Big Ed, and on the line tonight, I have got the gentleman that just went up to Lake Shasta and won the whole thing for the BAM Trail Pro-Am up there, Mr. Alex Niapas. Come on in here, man. Let's talk this thing through.
Thank you.
Hey, no, man, this is an honor to get you back on here. You know, the last time I talked to you on here on the podcast here, you won also. So, and I believe it was Shasta. So, you know, we're back
Yeah,
here.
Shasta. Go ahead.
Well, we're back here. You know, we're back here in the same deal, and you know, you're becoming infamous with this deal. You know, with winning up at Shasta, you're a heck of an angler. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, the fact that everybody kind of knows you as this, you know, big swim bait guy. You love throwing the swim baits. It's that time of year that swim baits are a big player on the game. Yet you went out there and told us on the stage that that wasn't your game.
No, not this tournament. It was. I mean, I got bit pre-fishing with it, but yeah, when I came up the week before the off limits, you know, I got some bites on it, but I was catching fish, better, you know, good fish, doing throwing the Cinco. So I focused on that more than the swim bait.
Yeah, that's a very different way, I guess, to think about this time. I mean, this time of year at Shasta, it's one of those ones where there's some big fish roaming around. I mean, I'm trying to think of, there was this guy that dropped like this 12-pounder or something on the stage, you know. Plus there was Nick Wood comes up, drops a 12 on the stage. There was a 7, there was a couple 6s. I mean, you had big fish. There was good fish being caught. How is it that, you know, I don't remember any of them saying, you know what, these came on swim baits. They all talked about they were coming on Nico rigs and finesse rigs and that sort of thing. Is there something going on with the lake, or is it just that this time of year those are going to work better?
You know, it's every year. Every year is different. It's just you know, some years they key on the trout and eat them. They'll eat swim baits quite a bit, but some reason this year it wasn't happening. Um, I think the falling water had something to do with it. Um, but yeah, it's you just never know. You know, you just have to try it out, and if it's not working, it's not working, and go on to something else.
Was it one of the, you know, you talked about, oh, I got bit a couple times in practice. Is that, were you fishing like the same areas? And I don't want you to give up your areas or anything like that, but were you fishing the same areas with the same baits? And it's just like, you know what? They weren't quite keying in on swim baits, and they weren't looking at it the same way as they had in the past, where they're just engulfing it. Or was it that you changed areas once you figured out that they weren't chasing trout?
No, I hit some of the same areas where you know where I've caught swim bait fish before, and they just you know that 2 days of practice, I kind of tried to focus on it a little more, see how good the swim bait bite, and it was pretty apparent that it wasn't going to work. You know, I made a lot of casts, and I decided it's not probably going to work, so I focused on finesse fishing more.
All right. Was there any specific way that you were fishing that Senko? Was it just a stand, just like, hey, you know what, hook it up, put a hook through it, and throw it out?
Yeah, the first day I caught them on um, weightless, just wacky rigging it, and they seemed to be more shallow in shallow water the first day. In that 5 to 8 foot feet of water, and I was able to fish it wacky rig. And then second day the wind kind of picked up, and I had to use a nail weight. I had to put a
Right.
16th ounce nail weight in and Nico rig it.
Okay. It's hard it's hard to try to I'm trying not to get too detailed. There are things coming up, but one of the things you talked about was water falling down. Yet a lot of people talked about how they were fishing shallow. Now normally I think that falling water means fish are moving out. What do you think was keeping them moved up if it was also the water was falling?
They would come up for periods of
Hmm.
throughout the day, and you could catch them then. But with that stable water and the rising water, you know, the week before the event,
Oh,
um, uh, it was the bite was pretty consistent, all day. And I think with that falling water, it kind of made the bite window pretty narrow. There's just, a morning bite and then narrow afternoon bite.
okay. So it wasn't that they were just holding up shallow all day long. They were kind of moving in and out, up and down. Was there
Yeah.
any depth that you noticed? It's like they would run out to 40, 50 feet and then come back up, or were these fish staying close to the surface where they could still strike to the surface?
No, they'd swim around. It's kind of weird. You see some fish on the live scope on trees, and
Hmm.
come back 5 minutes later and try to, say if you got too close to the tree and you didn't want to make a cast and you seen one on it, and you come back and he was gone, and well, they're moving around, but yeah, I wasn't really focusing on trees, but
Right.
um, yeah, so that kind of made it kind of difficult. I could see how some of the scopers were struggling. The fish were always moving. It seemed like, and you just had to time it and be at the right spot, at the right time.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I didn't see. I mean, a couple of the guys. I mean, Ty Manarola, Brandon Osborne. These are guys who are pretty good scopers. They were there on day. On the last day, they were. Made the top 10, did some good things. So I'm guessing that means that the whole scoping, the mid strolling thing that they talk about. I'm guessing that was working, but it doesn't seem like that was the key to catch the big fish. I mean, when I'm not talking to Nick, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but when he was on the stage, he said, "Yeah, I that basically came." Which you were just talking about. He goes, "I was Nico rigging, saw that fish, knew it was in the area around big fish, and boom, I caught him." It just seems interesting that it's kind of like, okay, so I guess you're still using the forward facing sonar. That was still, you just talked about that a little bit, but you're not using it the same way.
Take the plunge and jump into new favorites at Black Bear Diner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we've got you covered.
Good old-fashioned family food, Black Bear Diner.
We're going to take a short commercial break and talk to you about one of our great sponsors, StoreQuest Self-Storage. They're here to help you get your garage back. As an outdoor enthusiast, you have gear, lots of expensive gear, equipment, boats, trailers, and vehicles, probably all stored in your garage. You need a storage space that's easy to access, secure, and climate controlled. And that's where StoreQuest comes in. Head over to storequest.com. Plus, members receive an exclusive 10% discount with the offer code BAM10. That's BAM 10. StoreQuest is the official self-storage partner of the BAM Tournament Trail. Now, back to the BAM Pod.
Yeah, I don't rely on it, but yeah, if they tell me that there's a school of fish up shallow or down deep on a rock pile, um, I'll throw whatever at them. Make sure to
Yeah.
throw my bait at them. But yeah,
Are you so
but it's
so you're basically using it almost like a hybrid situation. It's like, yeah, I use it to more find fish and then see where they're at more than just focusing and I guess what would, quote unquote game, video game fishing. You're just using it more like it, I guess it would the way it was kind of designed to be used in the very beginning was find some fish that are out in front of you can't do. Are you still looking for the structure more than you're looking for like open water fish this time of year?
yeah. I still look for shallow water cover, if it's a rock pile or any trees or bushes. Yeah, that's kind of what I look for. And sometimes it's hard to pick up a fish. You can't see fish in rocks and trees, and they could hide from it somehow. But yeah, you throw your bait and somehow they magically appear.
Was when you were watching them and you were throwing out there, was it one of those things? I mean, we're fishing for spotted bass. Were they were they coming out like ones, twos, or were they coming out, four or five were coming out after it? The first one got whoever was the first one to get there.
It all varied with spots. Some spots there was a school of 20 or 30 little pounder halfers, but there are also a handful of 3 to 5 pounders. But um, most of the time it's there'd be about a half a dozen big ones together.
You were, I'm trying to, I can't remember all of them. I'm up there doing my thing, but it's one of those, day one, day two, and then championship Sunday. you know, Nick comes up, drops that 12. Does that, you're such a good angler, but does that affect you at all when you see something like that come on there? Or were you, because for me, when I looked at it, I went, oh, he got a nice fish. But Brennan Osborne, he had quality fish, just solid numbers, great weight. I think it was 24, 23 or 24 right there. Was putting a big fish like that on there something that you just went, oh man, I'm gonna have to step my game up for this thing, or have you fished this lake long enough to know that one fish is not gonna do it?
Yeah, it's yeah, for a 3-day event, it's one fish is not gonna hold up. Um, I kind of I was a little worried with uh, Osborne catching 24 pounds, but I also knew there I left a bunch of weight out there. I could have caught more weight if I wanted to. I was like, I got you know 19, 20 pounds, so I was content for the long game. I looked at the weather forecast and I knew we were going to fish 3 days, so I just paced myself.
Yeah, that's a good point, right, that you just brought up. You watch the weather forecast and notice, you know what, we're fishing all 3 days of this. Because last year we lost a day in there. Now that made a bit that not only did, but would have made a huge difference in this event if something would have got canceled. But everything was, I mean, it got colder, but other than that, it was a good event. Everything was wide open. um, you know, Greg Gutierrez got up there, another angler who's really well known for fishing pretty well at Shasta, and he's always said he likes it when it gets tough, it gets hard out there. But the wind came up. The What you just kind of said was the only thing the wind really caused issues for you was that you had to maybe put a little weight in the bait you were using. Was there anything that you were just like, I don't want it to do this? Or was it just big wind, big rain don't come in, anything?
Um, no, no, not really. I couldn't see the wind being that big of a factor. Um, I seen in the afternoon it was going to tail off. It might be miserable for a few hours, but I had a lot of spots that could be protected into the wind, so it didn't bother me too much.
Is that something up there on that boat? I don't know the type of fisherman you are. It seems like I don't know if the weather bothers you that much when you're out there, or if you're just focused on the fish. Is there a certain weather type that you just like, I just don't want to be out in this?
Yeah, of course, if it's pouring rain and
Oh,
blowing 20 miles an hour, um, I could deal with one, but not both. That's kind of rough.
I was gonna say it's a good thing that didn't happen, because Shasta is definitely known for that happening.
Oh yeah, it rains hard all day. Yeah, you have to bring, like, I don't care what rain suit you have. You have to have two sets of rain gear sometimes when that happens,
Yeah.
because eventually you're gonna start getting wet. And, if it's gonna be raining, always bring two sets of rain gear.
That's interesting. I know that it does. I know it comes down pretty hard out there, pouring rain, and that's a body of water. Luckily, like I said, we really got this year so far. It's kicking. This is our first event, but man, it kicked off nicely. This is it's a great way. It's a great way for this thing to go. I mean, we get out there. The blast offs went nice. There wasn't much, any issues out there with what we were dealing with. But we definitely had some clear, nice, calm weather. Little bit of breeze, nothing much out there. Did that just set up perfect for you? You just went out there and went, you know what, this is awesome.
Yeah, I like the sunny, windy days. I prefer that than
Okay.
rainy, windy days. That's for sure.
Uh, did, does that affect your bite? Not having the cloud cover this time of year, when it comes to throwing big swim baits and things like that, or throwing any bait?
You
Is
know,
there?
I've caught them in the rain and nasty days, but I also caught them just as good in the sunny, windy days. Yeah, it
Okay.
seems like, yeah, it's kind of seems weird, but yeah, like I'd rather have a sunny, windy day than a cloudy, calm day. Some with I noticed the swim bait bites and other fishing, that cloudy, no wind days, they just don't seem to bite for me.
I mean, that's one of those things. I think people go out looking to throw this time of year. It's it's so cold. The water. What was the water temperature out there? That's actually not that cold. That's not that's not what I was thinking. It was going to be in the mid 40s, but being in the 50s, that's not bad at all. I mean, did you see spawning fish? No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, no, I haven't seen any. But
Let me ask this: early in the mornings like that, when you've got water temperature that's like that, you got fish up shallow. Were you wanting to throw topwater at all? This lake is known for being able to get topwater early.
nah, not really. No, I would. I might think about it if it was like 55 in the morning.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of they're more respect. It's kind of the deal where when the lake's turning over in the fall, sometimes
Right.
they'll eat it in that 53, 52 degree water. They're more inclined to eat a top water. But on the reverse side, um, when the water temp bottoms out, it seems like it takes a little longer, that 55, 56 degree water for them to be receptive for top water.
Hmm. I know it's coming on, and I know it's getting close, especially on that lake.
Yeah.
Um, we've got some. Are you going to do any of our Pacific Northwest stuff this year? Or are you one and done on this?
I don't know. I might. We'll see.
I mean, you just got a lot of
Clara's
points.
Yeah, Clara's talking about doing something up there, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll
Are you
definitely.
gonna try to finish the West?
Yeah, I'll do the Delta and then Don Pedro.
Okay. Are either one of those? I know that you're a spotted bass guy when it comes to Shasta. Is that what you really like to fish for? Like you go to the Delta, you're not going to find spots unless you go way north. If you go to Pedro, you're definitely back into those. Does this kind of play right into your hands with being that kind of way, or being that kind of fisherman?
What the flock are you waiting for? California's newest luxury entertainment destination, Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, is ready to play. Experience laid-back luxury in our modern hotel, a casino floor with views of the Sierra, and diverse restaurants and bars that'll keep you squawking for more. Experience the all-new Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, located just 60 minutes from Yosemite National Park. Visit playchickenranch.com to book your trip today.
I'm pretty I'm open with largemouth too. It's like Don Pedro, you have to fish for the largemouth. There's too many largemouth in that lake to focus on spots, and on average they're going to be at least a pound or two bigger. So you have to focus on largemouth at Don Pedro. But
okay,
yeah, I think I just experienced with spotted bass at New Maloney's. They pretty much act the same at Shasta. They're pretty similar. They seem to set up the same and bite the same lures. So,
I mean, I think everybody's always looking at, Angler of the Year is out there. It's looming. You've already got one win under your belt right now. You're going to two bodies of water that have big fish, and that does seem to be how you really like to play into things, going after those big fish. You got Angler of the Year in sights?
yeah, it'd be nice to win it this year. I had that mishap last year at the Delta, having my motor blown up and not being able to get back in. But it'd be nice to win Angler of the Year.
Have you won an Angler of the Year on a bigger circuit like this before?
No, I have not. I won one team events, Angler of the Years, but they're fishing our local, Don Pedro, Maloney's, McClure. Yeah, I won a bunch of those there, but not the big one. And I came close last year at one bass, but I had a bad tournament at Lake Mead. That was the first time fishing Lake Mead. But
okay. I guess the next question is, what's coming up for Alex on this one? I mean, you're doing well right here. You move up. Are you looking to maybe make that Super 60 and get out there and?
Yeah, I'd like to qualify for that sometime. Yeah.
It's something that would definitely up the game. See,
yeah.
How does it look? How does it look sitting back? You've been a pretty dominant fisherman on the outside of it right now. What do you think stepping up and fishing against that kind of level of angler out here on the West?
Yeah, that would be an honor, that's for sure, and probably learn a bunch of stuff, new stuff. Yeah, hanging around the top anglers.
Definitely. That they're good out there. But Alex, this is the time that this show that I usually give you guys about 5 or 6 minutes to go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself, give people some social media, a little bit about it, who you are, because they just listen to you and then they're wondering, it's like, okay, who did I just talk to? Or who did I just listen to? I mean, so yeah, take this time and tell everybody how to find you, where to get a hold of you, and who you are.
You could Alex Niapas on Instagram, and Catching California is my guiding website. If you want to book a trip, you could um, book one there on that website. And yeah, we're gonna go through the dates. So we haven't done that this year, and for tournaments wise. So hopefully, nobody books a tournament day. But yeah, catchingcalifornia.com.
All right, that's how you get a whole Alex right there. It's we talk a little bit about it and going out there. Is there a specialty you have with that? Is it? I mean, like I said, people know you as a that's what they know. Is that you're a swim bait guy and you like to do that? Is that something you go out and teach when you do guide, or is it something more that I just take you out there and teach you how to catch fish?
No, we have two different kinds of trips. If you want a swim bait trip, or you want just a regular fishing um, trip, the certain times, the best times for the swim bait is obviously between like November to April. If you want to book a swim bait trip, that's usually the best time, November through April. And um, anything after that, I'd probably recommend just fishing, basic fishing. And sometimes swim baits come and play with that, glide baits, but most of the time it's just basic fishing, throwing Cincos and top water and stuff like that.
All right. Well, Alex, thank you for coming on and doing the show. We really appreciate it. Breaking down a little bit how the event went. We don't want to get, it's too early in the year to give up too much, but, that's how you did it. That's how it went. Congratulations on that again, man. Great win right there. You got a boat, you got a boat out of this whole deal. That's a pretty good deal right there, that Vexus aluminum boat. So, hey, man, you can't. That's nothing to shake at. $45,000 package right there.
No, yeah. What's that?
Are you gonna keep that boat?
No, I'm trying to sell it. If anybody's interested, yeah, message me on Instagram. You got my number, call me.
All right, man. Well, again, thank you for doing this. We really do appreciate it, and we will. I'm sure we'll see you at our next event out there. Good luck on the next one, and thanks again, everybody. That was Alex Niapas right there. Great show. We got another great angler coming up. The co-angler, who was our co-angler champion. He's going to be coming up here next. So stay tuned.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the second half of the BAM Pod. I am still your host, Big Ed, but we have changed it up. Alex Niapas came in. He talked about how he became a champion on Shasta. Our next gentleman, he talks about how he became a champion on Lake Shasta. Mr. Eugene Downing is on the line. Welcome in, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We go up to Shasta. It's the opener. We're up there having fun, catching fish. It's a nice, we actually got lucky. We didn't end up in a giant rainstorm. We didn't end up in a giant windstorm. The year before, we had to cancel a day. This was absolutely beautiful up there, and I mean, it was a little cold. I'll give it that, but for the most part, it was a really good days out there. But the important part is that you went out and you became a champion from the back of the boat, which is, in my opinion, has always one of the hardest things to do. You have to sit behind one of the, some of the best. Some of the best West Coast fishermen there is. That's what BAM draws, and that's what we get. And you have to go back there and you have to figure out how to beat all of your other competitors. Because in BAM, as everybody knows, we are not a shared weight program. We are a do-it-yourself program, and each fish counts for you as well as it does for the pros. So, Eugene, let's break that down a little bit and talk. I'd love to talk about what what goes through your mind and how you kind of prepare for the day, and then you watch these guys fish and you watch them catch fish or don't or whatever, and then you've got to go change everything up and do it yourself without being on their water or interfering with their day. How does that all come about for you?
Well, I get all my stuff rigged up. I take about 5-6 rods. I pre-rig them. I get baits pre-rigged so I can just have them in my pocket. I don't got to go to my bag as often besides just for a hook. A lot of these spots just grab the worm and take it, and you'll lose a lot of worms like that. And when I'm fishing behind the pro, you only get so many areas to cast. Sometimes they have imaginary line that you don't want to cast in front of, and if you do, they give you that funny look. And I usually do test the waters a little bit just to see where I can cast and whatnot, and then I try to just kind of see what they're doing or where they're kind of casting, and either try not to cast in that same spot as the boat goes by, or if I see them get bit, I will try to cast in that area as I go by, or just kind of get the feel for it. And yeah, what else do you want me to talk about?
Just kind of I guess, yeah, no need to be nervous. Hey, there's nobody out there, just only a couple million people are listening. I'm just kidding. But it's one of the, it's one of those things, when you're back there, like you said, you have an imaginary line you're trying not to cross. You're trying to find fish. Are you looking at graphs? Are you watching everything? Are you just kind of paying attention to what they're doing?
I'm constantly bugging them about the depth. I really don't look at the graph very much. I really don't. I'm just constantly asking them, what's the depth? What's the depth? And sometimes I can just see it, but a lot of times they're standing right in front of the graph and I can't see the depth. So I always am asking them the depth. Kind of asking them is there any slopes going certain ways, rock piles and whatnot. And sometimes they'll point that out for me, after they hit it a couple times. And then I just constantly rotate through. This week I was rotating through Ned rig, Nico rig. I threw drop shot a little bit and Kitech, but I mainly focused on a Nico rig, and I rotated through like a 3/16 ounce and a 1/4 ounce nail head. With like an electric shad and green pumpkin, 5-inch Cincos. And then I'd switch and I'd throw a 5-inch Daiwa Nico fat.
All right. Now when you're looking at this fishery and it's a lot of spotted bass but then some guy drops, the Nick Wood drops a 12 on the scale. Guys are dropping 7. Guys are dropping 7s. Guys are dropping 6. Is that something, you come to the scale the first day, that happens, and people know that it happens on Shasta. It's not a lake that's known for big fish. It's not like a clear lake. It's not like a delta, but it's known that it has big fish in it. When you see that and you're a co-angler, it doesn't really affect you because, you're not fishing with that guy in the same pool as that guy. But
right.
Does that make you change anything and go, you know what, maybe the big fish are biting in this kind of weather? Is there anything that you look at and go, you know what, I think I'm going to change this up or change that up to try to go after big fish? And how do you make those changes from the back?
I really don't change too much because I can't. My mind races when I see those big fish go to the scales, but knowing me from the back, I can't position the boat to get to those casts and see even the fish because they get the live. So I just really focus on knowing that I need around 10 pounds to make it. So I just focus on trying to stay on the bottom and just pick off what I can pick off behind these hammers. It's tough. So if I try to go out and try to throw something big or try to change up big time to get a big bite, I might waste too much time and miss the opportunity of catching a good one on a Nico or a Kitech or whatnot. Because some of my biggest bass ever came on just a 5-inch dinger. So I know you can catch big ones on just some small moving baits.
Well, I mean, those guys the 12-pounder came on a Ned rig or whatever. So it
Oh yeah.
wasn't like he was throwing a swim bait or anything like that.
Right.
He already
Right.
dropped dropped it on there. But the other thing that I guess is that that you just said is when you come into these tournaments like this, do you have that kind of a game plan? Like, hey, this is what I feel like I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need 10 pounds or 12 pounds or whatever it might be. Do you go ahead and like kind of study what's been going on beforehand and really know going into this event?
Yeah, I studied because I fished the Wild West first, and I looked and seen some results, and it looked like you need around 9.5 to 10 pounds to make it, usually a day sometimes. And I tried. My goal is usually 12 pounds. I don't want to try to set the goal too big because if you get to that, then you're happy. If you get above that, then you're really happy.
Yeah.
So I just and trying to get 5 2-pounders. It's not easy. Like those are goals for the co-anglers at Shasta, and 3-pounders and up are the goals for the the pros.
Well, I was gonna say that, and how did day one feel when you came in and saw what the co-anglers were putting up? Because I'm sorry, they were putting up some really good numbers. I mean, there was
Oh
some
yeah.
good weight coming in. Top 10
Yep.
was what I think on day one was like 14 to get in.
No, on day one it was 9. I think 998.
Oh, that's right. Day one it was a little less. You're right.
Yeah. Day one's a little less. So I mean, so 9 something, and then I think on day 2 I lucked into a big one and I weighed in 14. But I think the majority of the field, if you can get around like 11, I think they were sneaking in there with the ones that had 9 pounds and whatnot. I just think it's a good number to set yourself at as a co-angler. Get about 10 to 11 pounds, and you should feel pretty comfortable coming into the weigh-ins.
Yeah, I mean if that's the numbers you're looking for and that's what you're kind of getting. I mean, it doesn't mean that I guess that means that you don't have to go out there and search for the giant ones. I mean, of course, I know you are. That's the
of course, yeah. My goal
is what we do.
Like
right?
I would love to bring in 20 pounds, but cashing a check is always the biggest goal is to win. But if I can just cash checks, then I can be, have a little money to get back or break even, things like that. That's the goal I try to look at is at least bring home a little bit of cash.
Well, yeah, you went out there and you brought home as much as you possibly could from this tournament by winning.
Yeah.
So that's got to make it a little easier for the next event. Are you going to head down to? Are you going to go? Because you're in Medford, Oregon, so you're kind of in one of those spots where it's like fishing down towards California is easy. Fishing the Pacific Northwest might be a little easier. Do you have any, any thoughts of going up there and fishing those lakes at all, or have you ever?
Oh yeah, I did Boardman, not last year, but the year before for BAM, and it's probably the best fisheries I've ever been on. I placed 4th in that. It was can't even remember how many fish I caught on a spinnerbait that year. It was just insane. And and this year, yes, we are fishing the Delta, Don Pedro, and we're gonna fish the Moses. We're gonna fish the whole circuit.
Wow, got to go for all 6 of them and see how you do on the back. Now, any aspirations of coming forward?
Yeah, that's my goal. That's been my dream since I was a kid. I mean, me and my buddy Rick O'Callahan, we used to get dropped off as kids at 10 years old. That's my travel partner. I couldn't ask for a better partner. We were getting dropped off, young kids, get picked up at dark. He's pro now. Yeah, my dream is to, money-wise, it's Bendy hobby. So I want to do co-angler one more year next year, and then if I can work on getting some sponsors and help things out, then yes, I would. I'd love to fish as a pro. Definitely. That is the goal. That's the biggest goal.
That's a great aspiration to make it. It's a little bit more money out of the pocket, and you're right. This is not a cheap. This is not a cheap sport.
It's not.
I tell everybody when they get up there on the stage, it's like you don't get here by yourself. Almost nobody makes it up there by themselves. They've got sponsors. They've got people that are helping out, and it's an important thing to do. And if you go out there, actually, if you go back and listen to this podcast, the last one we just did. The last one I just did, we have an angler that came on there, and that's all he was talking about was the whole sponsors and how to get them and how to go. And he gives his phone number, and if you want help, he's more than willing. Anybody that wants to know how to get sponsors, that's where it is. And if you have aspirations of going forward, man, you're definitely going to want that kind of support. It's out there, and there are, especially where you live. I mean, you live in such a great area for that, to fish both waters. To fish California and
Right.
to fish up in the other regions. Or further up in Oregon, further, all the way up Washington and that sort of thing. That's great. You're kind of mid for both, but you're also
Right.
long for both.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the still drive for both, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
So let me walk back a little bit onto Shasta. When you're back there and you're fishing that, were you looking for anything in specific? Like, you don't get to control the boat, so you don't get to pick, hey, we're gonna go fish on the tree areas, we're gonna fish rock piles, we're gonna fish, steep bluffs or anything like that. But is there one spot that you look at as the co-angler, and just go, you know what, I love fishing this kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. When if my pro's scoping and he's looking out in the deep water, and if we're coming up and there's a tapering point, I can see with the polarized glasses, you can see it's getting shallow, and you see that little brown area, and I like to fire up shallow first, and then get off a little bit deeper, just choose all different angles at it as we go by it. I don't like to drag behind the boat, but sometimes I do. If it's I'll fire it out there 130 feet and then let it sit there and shake it a little bit, and then nothing. Then I got to reel it in 100 feet. And I feel like I waste time doing that, but I always end up doing it because I like those little sloping, tapering points that slope down shallow, and I can see them. Because it's hard to get what you want to try to cast at with them. They pick it apart. They know the lake like the back of their hand. So you gotta just try to clean up as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely. We hear people all the time, talk about how much some of these guys are just vacuum cleaners. They're just taking everything they can get. And I mean, to fish behind a guy like Greg Gutierrez, Alex Niapas, I mean, those guys right there are just, they're not leaving you much. They're leaving you scraps, but to pick up
they'll
those
leave you the
scraps
scraps,
and do
little
it.
guys. But they'll leave you the little ones, but I'll take them. The only time I feel you get backseated is like the Delta is the hardest place. That's the tough one. It is for co-anglers. That is the toughest one to fish, but it's fun. It has my number, but it just makes me want to come back better and stronger and harder and get them.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the key to all of this, is being able to, watch what they're doing, see what they're missing, because that's that's the part where. I learned from Zach Thompson a long time ago fishing on the Delta. He's like, you're fishing in every place that I hit, you're hitting. And I go, yeah.
Right.
Sometimes he goes, hit what I miss. If I miss a spot, hit that spot.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what I'm kind of leaving you. And it was just like, and I mean, this was 20 something years ago, but it was still, it's important to learn, important to see. And it's those little things like that. And like on the Delta, like you say, that is a tough one out there.
It is. Just try to, like you said, see where they're casting and just try to go where they're not. And and just try, but them guys just go everywhere.
Yeah, Ken Maw's one of those ones that's like that.
Oh
I left you a spot. It's like, really? Because I missed it.
I had him on Saturday, and it was a blessing. I learned so much from behind him. Like, it was on Saturday at Delta last year or the year before. It was cool.
Nah, I was gonna say, who were your anglers up here on this one, Ben?
So this year, Friday, I had Jack Mariani. I want to give a shout out to him.
Wow.
It was awesome. Learned quite a bit. And then Saturday, I had Bruce Harris. I want to thank him. He got me on that 6-pounder, and we had a blast. Great gentleman to fish with. And then Sunday was Alex Niapas, swimbait specialist. And I feel I learned more that day than I've learned the last 3 years of fishing.
It's funny.
I learn every day. Every time I go out with a guy, I learn and learn and learn and learn. And I try. And I'm a stubborn guy when it comes to fishing what I'm using, but I am not stubborn to come in and absorbing all the knowledge from these guys. And you don't even sometimes have to ask them questions. You can just watch them and just see. And then I ask too. Sometimes they probably want me to shut up, but I ask them. I ask them questions all the time.
No, I feel like most of the guys, maybe not most of the guys, but a lot of the guys, they appreciate someone that's back there that's willing to, or is wanting to learn, and they're more than willing.
Right.
They're usually more than willing to help. I mean, that's the whole point of being back there.
It's the moment.
when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
A big thing that I got from Alex was he's so calm and collective. He doesn't even he just he knows it's gonna happen. You know, his mindset is it's gonna happen. Obviously, sometimes you don't win them all, but and we laughed. It was such a good time. I have confidence when I fish tournaments with my daughter and my friends. I have the confidence, but I just got even more just from him, just seeing how calm and collected he is.
It's crazy to me that Alex, we just interviewed him, and he is just, on the stage, on the air, on everything, he is just that mellow guy.
Yeah,
he's just
so mellow.
I can't even imagine out there fishing that he's any different.
He had, I don't know, 8 pounds at 7.5, 8 pounds at 11 o'clock or so, maybe a little more, and then all of a sudden he just moving the boat and moving, and it just a few hours go by and it's like you're at 19 pounds, and I'm still pulling up a little bit here and there. I'm stressing because I feel I need 10, 11 pounds to be safe, and here I only needed 655, and I had, I was fine the whole time, but I was just getting nervous, man.
Yeah, it's got to feel good though to walk out of there as a champion, man. What'd your wife have to say?
Oh, she was super happy. They were, yeah. I told her she didn't have to drive down, but her and my son drove down. My daughter was devastated she couldn't come. Yeah, she was happy. And I've been trying this will be the 4th year. I've had 3 top 10s in a row until this year. I did 5th in Wild West, 2nd at BAM the first year, and then last year I was the last one, 10th place, when we had to cancel the one-day Saturday because it was pretty windy.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing to just come out there and place 4 top 10s and win the 4th year, and against all these anglers. They're all hammers out there. They're all trying just as hard as me. I tell myself they don't want it as bad as me, but I know that they do. But I want it. I feel I want it more than even the pros out there. I've been wanting this since I was a little kid. It was either boxing or fishing or basketball, but I knew I wasn't big enough to play, but tall enough to go there. So I just stuck with the fishing part.
Yeah.
It's like a one-on-one battle out there. It's me and the fish. I got to figure out how to beat them. I got to get them in the boat. It's light line, it's the same type as flipping a punch or whatnot. It's a battle out there.
When you how do I say this now? So is there a waterway as a co-angler? Is there a waterway that you absolutely look forward to?
What do you mean? Like a place?
Yeah, like a lake, a river, or anything. Is there someplace you just go, you know what, I love going there, and this is my spot? It's got to be Shasta a little bit now, but.
Oh yeah, no, Shasta's always been there. My first year ever fishing there in a club tournament, I took first place with my buddy Dan Barnum. We went there and we had 10.5 pounds, and I fell in love with it since then. Our club fishes there twice a year, Rogue Valley Bass Masters. Yeah, I would be Shasta, or since I've been to the Columbia, I'm looking way forward to going to the Columbia. I had a 4th there. I really want to win there. That's an amazing place.
Yeah, it's a super fun fishery.
One of these days.
Do what?
I said I'm looking forward to going to Clear Lake. I've never fished that ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it'll be good to get. I don't think we go there this year on either one of them, right? No, we don't go to the Delta. We go to Don Pedro, then we go
Don Pedro.
Yeah, so
I'll have to go fun fish it.
Yeah, you're gonna go fish it all. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. I think this is the time of year too when guys are getting onto them. I don't know what February brings, but I think February is kind of one of those. I'm almost glad we have it off, just because it's usually not a great time to fish. But
no, it's always rainy. It is.
I know, it's like I'll honestly take the break a little bit. Right. We have a lot this year. Should be a good circuit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Moving
excited.
forward, I asked Alex the same thing. What are are you, move to the front, go to the Super 60? What's your goal, as far as all of this goes for you going forward in the future of your, how old are you?
I turned 40 February 3rd.
Okay, so you got plenty.
Sometimes
of time.
I feel like I'm 50. Sometimes I feel like I'm 50, but
nah, you got plenty. You got plenty of time to go forward still.
Yep,
I mean,
nope, I
Dean
do.
Thomas was sitting out there forever.
Right. Yeah, no, that is the main goal, is to get on the front of the boat. It was nice. Bruce Harris, he called me and left me a voicemail. I still got to call him back. He said congratulated me, and he said, buddy, you're a damn good angler. You need to get to the front of the boat, and it is my dream. I really do want to. I know that right now I can't afford to do that. And one more year of learning behind these hammers is only going to get me better.
Yeah.
It can't make me any worse. So yeah, that is the biggest goal. It'll happen.
Okay. How are you doing as far as like your social media stuff and all that? Is there ways that people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, I do have to. Yeah. Right. I got a Facebook and Instagram. I do need to get better at posting things and whatnot to get followers and prove to them why I can make them successful when I get sponsors. But yeah. And I would do, I could start doing some YouTube videos and whatnot of recaps of the tournament and how I caught them. I need to do that. I'm nervous, but I know the more I do it, the better, So I got to get that out of my head.
Well, that was the lead into how do people get to those places. So
right,
let's do that part. Tell them how do they find you? How do they find you on Facebook and then Instagram and all
Facebook.
that?
Yeah, Facebook, Eugene Downing on Facebook, and then let me ask my wife what my Instagram. My daughter, what's the Instagram? Downing Fishing. Downing Fishing, I think. Downing Fishing on Instagram. And that's it right now.
Right now, he's telling everybody he's not the best at it, but keep following him, keep watching. He's going to keep updating that stuff and starting to learn it, especially even if his daughter has to do it for him.
Yeah, I told her, I said, you just need to do it for me too. For me.
That just means you got to take her fishing more often, and she can stand on the back of the boat and do some
videos. She does
videos.
the club tournaments with me, so that's a blessing to have her doing club tournaments with me.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
The family that fish together stay together. So,
yep.
there were daughters up there fishing that this weekend and everything. And I'll tell you what, getting into this thing is what Mark's doing over here with BAM is offering up some really good stuff. We're giving away $100,000 scholarship, for the high school English.
Oh, wow.
Just in case she wants to come out and fish and take some burden off of poor mom and dad, if she wins.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Yeah,
if she wins $100,000 scholarship, you can fish. You don't have to make as much money to fish to save up for her college fund.
Right. I don't have to deal with the college, and I can just be fishing.
Well, Eugene, what we talk about the fishing and all that. We talk about fishing behind those eyes. How has your experience been this year and last year? You've been with us for a couple of years now. How has it been? Fishing. Have you been happy with these guys? Have you had any major run-ins? Is it something that you're like, hey, you know what? If you're out there fishing, if you're out there wanting to, come out and try this thing, this is the way to do it.
No, definitely. If even pros, but co-anglers, like the guys that want to do it, you will love it. Sometimes you feel a little stressed, you don't get much area to cast, but certain lakes like Shasta, you can cast anywhere and catch a spotted bass. Really, you can. It may not get the biggest bag, but you're gonna catch fish. Like you will catch. I caught probably, 20 to 30 most days, I feel like, and in practice probably 40 to 45 fish each day. Like you never go there and not catch fish unless you're gonna just try to throw big baits all day. Then sure you can maybe get skunked, but it's a well-run organization. I give props to everybody. It's amazing getting out there and when I stand behind Ish Monroe and all these other guys, to me, it's like, to my other buddies, it'd be like them standing by an Emmett Smith or Michael Jordan. I feel like I'm standing by those guys with these guys, and it's just a blessing. It's a very well-ran organization. I encourage everybody to get out there and try it. I get it. It's a little nervous, but once you do it, you'll love it. And you can't get a cheaper guided trip. You can't get a cheaper guided trip for 2 days. It's impossible, especially if you draw the right guys. Some of these guys charge $800, you know, to go fish with Alex or anyone, and then if you get them, then you get that for, you know, $250 pretty much. So it's a good deal, and you learn a lot. You can get basically a guided trip, and you get to fish for money. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if you do well, you know, you walk out of there with a little bit of change in your pocket, you know,
Or a lot of it of change.
Yeah, or a lot of change. It's one of those things, you know, that I feel like guys do, you know, don't understand what it's like to be a co-angler. It is tough. It is tough, but like you said, you're learning a lot. How is it, you know, and I think this is something that a lot of guys want to know is when you do get behind someone that's scoping, you know, they're just up there and they're looking down. They don't care where you're at. They don't care what's going. They are doing their thing. What is it that you have to do to kind of make the changes and work with that? If you know you're sitting over 130 feet of water, it's like, you know, do you just put on a 3-ounce weight and throw it to the bank or what?
Well, so I tell you a story. I'm not going to say names or nothing like that, but like at Don Pedro, I was in the first place going into championship Sunday, and my pros smashing them, but we're fishing like 200 feet of water, doing treetops, and I'm stuck in there in 150 to 200 feet of water. And most guys would probably just take a nap on the back of the boat, but me, my dad raised me to be a killer, so I just, you know, I threw on the A-rig because I feel like that's going to get the most flash, most anything, and I'm just chucking that thing in 200 feet of water, and I left into 2 bites, and then we get a little closer to the bank, and I threw on an eco and caught like a 3.5 pounder. Wow. But I would just say throw on like just a umbrella rig, or you can maybe do a jerk bait, or toss out like a Kitech and count it down and slowly reel it in and count down farther, and just keep changing it, or a weightless Senko you could try to throw out there and let it sink down so far and twitch it and then reel it back in and just try to cover little sections. I was just praying I'd get lucky and reel over a treetop. But no, it was fun. I mean, yeah, and I learned. You learn a lot if you can watch these guys out there. I mean, I don't take anything from any pro that backseats me or anything, because my biggest goal doing these events since I started was to just learn. And if I win and I do good, then that's a bonus for me, you know. So, because the ultimate goal is for me to get on the front of the deck and start fishing as a pro. So no matter what they're doing and how bad your day was fishing or not catching anything, you just got to embrace what you learn from that guy, no matter what, and just absorb it. Even if they don't talk to you, just watch him and see what he does. How is he twitching the rod? Where's he holding at? Right. You know, everything. What pound test line do they do? Do they really just use heavy line? Do we just think that you need to use light line? Because some guys use it heavy line scoping, and I'm back here using 7-pound test line all the time. Maybe at Almanor, I went down to 4-pound test line because I wasn't catching anything. I didn't even get a bite on the first day at Almanor.
Wow.
But it was.
Are you going to take, I mean, I guess you have to, but are you going to take a little bit of the experience when you do decide to make that jump and can make that jump to the front in how you treat or how you fish at all with somebody in the back there? Is it going to make a difference to you?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you know, I don't want, you know, just like the pros, you don't want no one casting up ahead of you. But I'm always going to try to get them fish. You know, I want to help them out. I want to teach them. They can talk to me as much as they want, ask me anything, you know, like I want to be a friendly guy, you know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, especially if you have a good bag, like Alex treated me like a king, man. He helped me out. He let me pretty much cast wherever, just don't cast up towards him. And he fished plenty slow for me. I mean, most of the time, if your pro's fishing slow, you'll have time to catch fish most places, you know. But if they're going fast down the bank, then you just got to bring enough stuff. I used to bring a whole bunch of stuff, and I've kind of minimized it this year. But I usually bring enough stuff to fish for 5 months.
All right, man. Well, Eugene, that's our half hour, and you know this is the end of the show. You gave out all your information. People can start following you. People can start watching. They'll watch you move all the way to the front of the boat. They'll watch you for the rest of the BAM trail here. Congratulations again on the win, man. You really just seem to like one of those guys that just deserves it, and you're going to move forward and go a long ways in this business. I hope to see you on the stage many, many more times, and I'll be happy to watch you walk up to the front of the boat too. So thanks for coming on and doing the show. We do appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you at the next
Awesome.
one.
Thank you. Thank you much, and it was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Let me go. All right, everybody. That was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't get anything out of that thing, go back and listen to it again, man. Those two anglers right there just talked about a bunch of good stuff. So, all right, everybody. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. See you at the Delta. Bye.